Hey, and welcome to I Was Just Thinking. My name is Heather Deveaux, and I was just thinking about writing a blog because I tried to sit down to record this podcast, and a big ass truck pulled up in front of my house, started unloading all these things that weren't mine, and then I realized they were here for the neighbors. And the neighbors got a brand new brown leather couch. If you care about that at all, I was kind of pissed because they totally messed with my schedule today, and if we're being honest, my schedule is pretty willy-nilly, but I had wanted to sit down to record this podcast today. And because I couldn't, I sat down and wrote a blog. So I'm going to tell you about this blog that I wrote, and then I'm going to give you the link to it so you can go over there and read it if you like. But it's basically a rundown of everything that I wanted to talk about on the podcast anyway, to give you some updates and to ask you some really important questions. And then we're going to go from there. So let's talk about what it is that I wanted to talk about today, which is the question, what else do you want? Now, I just want to let that sit for a minute because I think that's a really powerful question. Let me just ask you again. In thinking about your life, your career, your relationships, your money, your home, your travel, your pets, whatever it is that you're thinking, is there something else? I want you to actually ask yourself that question. What else do you want? So listen, I've been eyeballs deep in reimagining my business. Heather Deveaux Instructional Design is no more. Deveaux Learning Solutions is coming up real fast, and I couldn't be more excited. And I have been doing a lot behind the scenes, quite honestly. I have basically, I'm not going to say thrown myself back into work, but I wake up every day now and I'm like, what are we doing today, Heather? And she says, I don't know, Heather, what do you want to do today? And I say, why don't we work on creating something really cool? And she says, well, what do you want to create? And I say, what if, and hear me out, we did something we've never done before? And that is basically how the last few weeks of my life have gone, is I get up every single day and I think, what else is there that I could be doing, or I could be creating, or I could be doubling down on to make this next version of my business the best it can be, but also the best it's ever been, not just for my clients, but also for me, and really putting me at the center of that. And I get it. That's not usually what people say, but like, I'm here for it and I'm going to make it work because I already do great work. My work speaks for itself. This is how much my work speaks for itself. And I just love that this was something that happened recently because it was a really great reminder that, yeah, my work does speak for itself. I got a referral from a friend and colleague of mine who put me in touch with somebody out of the blue to help them create some programming. And look, I haven't done any marketing. I haven't done any networking. I haven't so much as made a post on social media about my consulting business, my instructional design consulting business. I haven't done that it's going on a year, actually. It's been a while. It's been a while because I haven't been in love with social media for the last little while. It's been at least 7 months, officially, since I started this creative sabbatical, where I have not intentionally shown up and talked about my business. And I think it's actually been way before then because I was starting to taper things off quite a bit because I was deep into doing several client projects before I said I'm going to go on this sabbatical. So I didn't need to be marketing. Now, yep, everyone should be marketing, but I'm not everyone and I don't tend to do what everyone else does. So I was letting the marketing slide. And yet, 7 months in, and I'm getting a referral for a project. And that was such a great moment of affirmation for me, of validation for me, because my work continues to speak for itself when I'm not there and when I'm not even talking about it and when the business doesn't even exist anymore. So that is super cool. And I love that because I want to be doing more of that. I want to create more opportunity like that. And I had to ask myself the question, what else is there? What else do I want? And I want more of that. And that just doesn't happen. You have to go out and create that. And I'm not going to get into the nitty gritty of it, but like that was 10 years of work of showing up and putting on the show and doing the things and doing the networking and going to the events and reaching out and doing all of the work that is required to build a business. I did that for 10 years. And my business has mostly been running on referrals for the last several years, but it was still so awesome to get a call out of the blue from a total fucking stranger to be like, "Hey, are you available?" And no, I'm not. I actually wrote them back. So it was an email, not a phone call. I wrote them back and said, "Yeah, cool. I can totally help, but like in the new year because I'm actually on a sabbatical." And the irony, of course, is that I'm slowly coming out of this sabbatical and I have to intentionally slow myself down because when I tell you that all I want to do is get back to work, it is the truth. And I'm kind of surprised because I don't consider myself to be someone who wants to work all the time. I love working. I do love working, but I also love being what I am lovingly referring to as a lady of leisure. I like to do fuck all sometimes, mostly fuck all. I like to travel. I like to sleep in. I don't want to have to set an alarm. But there's something happening behind the scenes with me and my business that has just got me jumping out of bed in the morning like, all right, we got the whole day to ourselves. What are we doing today? So I wrote this blog about, it's called What Else Do You Want? And it's about how I have been showing up behind the scenes and the things that I have been thinking about and how I've been making decisions. And I want to share some of that with you. So I have decided that this is episode 9 of the podcast because of everything that is going on now and how I'm like shifting in real time and I'm refocusing now on rebuilding my business for the new year. I've decided that I'm going to stop recording episodes for this podcast. Notice I said this podcast. I was just thinking I'm going to stop after episode 10. And the reason I'm going to stop after episode 10 is because I'm going to be launching a brand new podcast called the Learning Solutions Podcast. And it's going to be aligned with Deveaux Learning Solutions. So my new business, my rebranded business, still working on the rebranding. I'm getting photos done in a couple of weeks for the website and I can't fucking wait. And this podcast is going to live on. I'm leaving it. I'm leaving everything that I have done with the creative platform, Heather Deveaux Creative. I'm leaving it all. And in fact, I'm still working on some of the blog stuff there. I'm going to reorganize the website a little bit so that it is more of a blog and less of a, here's all the things I've done, like my art. And I think I'll leave my books there as well, but I'm still working through the pieces of that. But in the meantime, I'm going to do one more episode of I Was Just Thinking. And then in January 2026, I'm going to drop the Learning Solutions podcast into the world. And I'm super excited about that. So if you're not into that stuff, if you're more into the woo-woo and the thinking and the meaning making and the decisions and the goals and all that kind of stuff, and you want to talk about being creative, I mean, I talk about that stuff all the time. Just like I can't help talking about business, I can't help talking about our thoughts and our feelings and what makes us do the things we do. And so that will carry over into the Learning Solutions podcast, but it is going to be geared more towards business, entrepreneurship, instructional design, curriculum development, the things that I do for a living. And there'll be lots of other things weaved in there. But the main focus is going to be to bring people into my consulting world, into my business world, to talk about learning solutions, because it's my jam. It's the thing I love. And I have loved the reprieve of being able to come here and create under Heather Deveaux Creative, under the I Was Just Thinking podcast. It has created so much room in my life for thought, for thinking time, that I'm just so glad I have done it. And really, launching this podcast was something I hesitated about doing, but now I'm so glad that I did it because it created the runway for me to be able to see where I want to be showing up and what I want to be doing. And so I'm so glad that I did this. And the funny thing is that when I talk about the Learning Solutions podcast coming early in 2026, I'm probably just going to drop it on the internet. Like, I don't tend to do much fanfare around these kinds of things, which is part of the problem, right? Part of the problem with me and business is that I just want to do my thing and I love business itself. But like, I don't want to be out there marketing and I don't want to be talking about this stuff. I just want to do my thing. So when I get a referral, I'm like, great, I can just do my thing. But those referrals don't come all the time, right? Like there's going to come a point where, I mean, I'm probably going to have to start talking about what I do. And especially in the context of this new reimagined business, I am going to have to start talking about that. And so I'm kind of like psyching myself up for that. I'm getting really excited about it. And what's funny is that something interesting is happening where I'm finding myself having to hold back. I want to jump onto LinkedIn and be like, hey, fuckers, look what I'm doing. And instead, I'm like, maybe I should just write a blog and chill the fuck out. So I'm super excited about relaunching my new business in the new year. And something else that I've been working on that I have really had to do a lot of thought work around is offering a certification. Now, this isn't a pitch because I don't have anything to pitch you, and that's not why you're here. But I want to talk about why I was hesitating to do this for a while, because I have 25 years of experience in adult education, instructional design, curriculum development, systems thinking, quality assurance, facilitation, and business. It's probably time to really double down on what I know and share it with people in a way that goes beyond, a few weeks in a Zoom room, right? You take a lot of courses online, you take a lot of programs, and it's just like, come to our Zoom room, we're going to do a bunch of stuff. And I'm reimagining what that looks like too. And so I've been cooking that behind the scenes. I'm getting ready to throw that spaghetti at the wall real fucking hard, let me tell you, to the point where I'm like, okay, I have to literally slow down because I'm not ready, nor do I want to actually work yet. I want to continue to enjoy my creative sabbatical. And so I've made a commitment to myself that I am going to continue to not promote and not work and not market and not do anything other than what I'm doing behind the scenes until after the new year. I'm giving myself the rest of the year to enjoy the sabbatical, and then I'm going to slow roll the new business. I'm not going to jump right back in. Instead of spending time in this sabbatical until I reach my money threshold, if you remember back to one of my previous episodes of the podcast, I talked about how I have a money threshold. What I have decided to do instead is I'm going to use that money threshold to bankroll the relaunch of my business. And to me, that seems like money well spent, because it just means that I get more time to figure out what it is that I'm doing here. And to be honest, like between you and me, I know exactly what I'm doing here. I just mean I don't want to rush back into it. I don't want to have to rely on clients paying me. I want to have time to get this certification off the ground. I want to give myself the space to do the thing I love, just like I gave myself the space to do this other thing that I love, which is take time off, be creative, explore, think, make meaning, journal, figure out what I want for my life, and really jump back into something else, or in this case, double down on something that I already know. And so I've been having a lot of conversations with people about the relaunch of my business. And those conversations have further helped me refine my understanding and my meaning making related to this creative sabbatical. And I feel ready to go back to work. And that's a new one for me. Like, I have entered my 7th month of this creative sabbatical, and I can tell you that this experience has changed me in a way that I didn't expect. And it made me go deeper into my expertise instead of adding more things. Like, I've tried lots of things, I've done lots of things. And at the end of the day, I'm like, God damn it. I kind of just want to do the thing I'm really good at. I want to actually get even better at it. I love the idea of learning new things, but I've been reading more business books, and I've been taking some classes online, and I've been doing some coaching with a coach and thinking about, like, how do I go deeper into this even more instead of building from scratch? And I thought, for what it's worth, that I was going to end up doing something entirely different. I've said that many times, that I thought I was going to maybe do this blog full time. I thought this blog was going to be, the thing that I focused on. I was going to build really slowly, but it's just not it. I love it. I'm going to keep doing it. I have no intention of stopping blogging because I love it. I love the outlet of it. But I'm looking at my business from an entirely different perspective now. And whether that's because I had some time and space, or whether that's because I've been actively thinking about what does this look like, I can't answer that question. It could be a little bit of both. It could be column A, column B. I don't know. But I appreciate what I have built even more than I ever have. Let me tell you why. The fact that I built a business that allowed me to take this time off is nothing short of amazing. Most business owners that I know can't swing a weekend away from their laptops or service deliveries. And I have carved out an entire year. Now, I have chosen to go back to work, quote unquote, so to speak, right? I'm going back to work. I've chosen that. But I could take the rest of the time off. I could go right to next May, like I planned, and not do it. And now I just feel like now is the time. I'm ready. I want to do it. I'm excited. There's no need to wait. It just means I'll have more money in the bank and I'll be more prepared to do this. But most small business owners that I know are living paycheck to paycheck themselves. And I have done that. And I'm not knocking that. That is part of what it is to be an entrepreneur. You have to earn your way to more. And I'm so thankful that I even have this opportunity. But also, this is not a privilege. I built this for myself. This isn't something that somebody handed me. I created this. And so I'll be getting back into business next year. But I decided to do that because I wanted to do it, not because I have to do it. And so that is one of the reasons why I'm looking at my business from a very different perspective, is that my business is actually serving me in a way that I wanted to. I am not the engine that is running this business. This business is doing a lot on its own now. Yeah, I show up and I deliver the services, but I have created something that moves on its own, and I don't want to give that up. So instead of waiting until my savings is gone to go back to work, I'm just going to slowly reincorporate my life and my business with the funds that I have during this transition period. And I got to tell you, I spend a lot of time thinking and journaling and reflecting, and I'm so thankful for my past self, my 7 months ago self. And actually, it was more than that because I had planned on doing this with a set hard stop date. I had planned on doing this last winter and decided, okay, I'm gonna go all in May. And so now it's been like 7 months, and the choices that I have given myself have continued to evolve. But the fact that I even have the choice, that I can sit here and do this, it's not lost on me, but also like I did that. I created that. So I think number one, acknowledge the things that you've created for yourself and don't just wash them away as like luck or timing or whatever. Like, no, everything I have created here has been very intentional, to the point of I'm not working and now I am going to work. Not because I have to, because I want to. Second, I'm so excited about this new iteration of my business. And I've mentioned this already, but I actually have to stop myself from talking about it. I feel like someone's going to throw punch me if I corner them and I'm like, do you want to hear what I'm doing? Do you want to hear? Do you want to hear what's going on? I'm super excited. And I'm taking that as a sign, regardless of the fact that I've already fucking decided, but I'm taking my excitement as a sign that I have made the right choice to double down. And that has come through conversation with people and talking it out and talking about, where do I really see myself in a couple of years? Not many, because I don't think past a year or two down the road, mostly just thinking about what I'm having for dinner tonight, if I'm being honest. But when I do think about these things, I think about where I want to be. And I know that this is the right choice for me to double down instead of going back to the drawing board. And that is because I have created this space for myself to rediscover my love of learning and of creating opportunities, not just for my clients, but of creating opportunities for myself. And it's helped me to further understand the impact that I can make through entrepreneurship. With this new offer, this certification, like I can't even tell you. If I start talking about it, we'll be here all day and you'll be like, is this the certification podcast? Because I have so much. And I love the saying, go big or go home, but I'm like, go big, go home. Fuck that. Like, what? I just want to stay here and be little. No, I don't. Why do we tell ourselves that? We want big things. We don't want to go home. We want to like build a home, right? And so I can say confidently that big things are coming, and they are so big, they are scaring the shit out of me. And that's kind of in both personal and professional realms, You have to become somebody who can do these things. And I'm going to become that person to do these things. I already am that person. I know that. I just want bigger, better things. And so I'm going to step into that role with myself. And finally, the conversations that I've been having with my friends and my colleagues and even former clients have resulted in confirmation that I am right where I need to be. that nothing has gone wrong, that I haven't missed any opportunities, that there is a reason I've been in business for so long, and I will continue to be in business now that I've had a chance to step back and reevaluate my priorities. And that when I started this creative sabbatical, I said, I'm just taking a break to explore my creative interests. And I did, and I have, and I still am. But what I have learned is that I don't need to silo these things. It doesn't have to be business or creative, because my business is very creative and I can make creative my business. And so I think the realization that I don't need to take time off from one to do the other, that the thing I do really well is integrate my life, all aspects of it, I integrate really well, and that I just need to focus on that. And I could do both without having to hinder one or without sacrificing the other. There is a lot that we can learn about ourselves when we take the time to look. And I get that we don't always have the time to slow down. So here's a couple of things that I want to offer to you that I have found myself doing when I'm like, I don't have time, even though I have all the time in the world. I was talking to a friend the other day. I started to cackle laugh when I caught myself saying, I don't have time. And then I was like, oh my God, I have nothing but time. What am I doing? But we trick ourselves into thinking that, even when we have all the time in the world, we trick ourselves into thinking like we don't have that time. And so here's a couple of things that I do just naturally and on the regular. I think because of being someone who is typically very busy in my mind, not like physically busy, but like in my mind busy, that I find these little pockets of time to think. And it's usually in the car. You'll find me driving in the car a lot because it's somewhere that I can think. And when I'm scrolling on my phone, which I try really hard not to do because it just depresses the fuck out of me and I don't get anything out of it anymore. But when I am scrolling on my phone, I find that I'm not even looking at what I'm seeing. I'm thinking. It's just like my brain needs something to focus on so I can think. Or like in the shower. I'm taking real long showers these days because I just want to keep thinking about what I'm doing. I don't want to lose the train of thought. But something that I've learned recently in my thinking time is that I have this love-hate relationship with goals, which has been really interesting to even acknowledge. But it's something that I've known deeply, viscerally, actually. I have this like visceral reaction when people start talking to me about setting goals. And it's probably why I haven't bothered to set a goal in years. It's been actual years since I've said, this year I want to do XYZ. Even this sabbatical was pretty spontaneous. Like I went from, I'm going to use the money I have to invest in real estate, and that didn't work out, to I'm going to use this money I have to take time off from work. So just literally one door closed and I was like, well, I'm just going to blow this whole house out of the way and do something else instead. And I tend to go where my intuition takes me rather than setting out a very specific goal post or milestone to reach, which is not how most people operate. Most people operate from the perspective of, I want to do this thing, I'm going to work towards this thing. And their only indication that it's working is that they are actually getting closer to the goal. I tend to be someone who is like, well, let's just try and see where it takes us, which has served me very well. And I also know that there are things in my professional life that like I just haven't said out loud, or I haven't given space to, because I'm like, well, everything is fine and it's working. And why do I gotta go bigger? You know, why can't I just stay home? And now, for the first time in years, I'm like, I think I want to do something big. And it came from this question, what else do I want? And so we'll just pause here again for a minute and you think about that question. What else is there? What else do you want? Because like, it's probably all pretty great. You probably look at it and go, yeah, it's fine. It's great. And that's awesome. That just means that you're ready to jump to the next thing, or you have a better platform to jump to the next thing, that you're not starting from scratch. But we tend to think like, what do I want? And I love that question. What do I want? And then this is kind of the next iteration of that. What else do I want? What else could I have? And that's when I came to the conclusion that maybe it's time to start setting some goals again, boys. Like maybe this whole thing is coming at this time because I'm ready. I'm finally in a position where I can focus on myself. and I can give attention to myself, and I can tend to my needs, and I can stop feeling like my business is just the thing I do, and I can really make it, the thing that propels me forward. And I think that's what's happening right now. And so I see a path forward for my goals. And I think, like, really, I've given myself permission to go after them. As scary as they are, like, I am freaking the fuck out. But I could have given myself permission long ago, and I didn't. And that's the end of that. I'm not going to worry about, like, why didn't I do that? Or what was the block? Or what was missing? I just didn't do it. I wasn't ready. I didn't really want it. I was tricking myself into thinking something else. But now I'm like, oh, hell no. No, I really do want to do this. And I'm being vague because my goals are not your goals. I'm not going to sit here and spout out to you what it is that I want to do this year, because it doesn't matter. It's not going to change what you want to do. And I think that's part of the problem when we talk about what we want, is we look to what other people are doing as a sign that we should do the same. And there's all kinds of evidence to say that if we see other people doing something, we know that it's possible. But I think that that is a little bit misleading in the sense that we take it as a sign we should do it too. Instead of seeing the possibility in what they're doing and applying it in a different way to ourselves, which is what I tend to do. I go, well, if she could do that, fuck, I could do this. I don't got to do that. I think if we look at it from that perspective, we take more ownership over the things that we actually want. And so in the ways that I have stepped away from setting goals, I'm stepping back into the idea that this is something I want, not because someone else has it, not because anyone else is doing it. I don't actually know anyone who's doing it the way that I want to do it, but I'm going to do it. I'm going to figure it out. And so when I think about how I've always gone my own way in life and in business and the things that I want, even how I spend my time, there's something enticing about setting a goal right now that really lights me up. And it has been a while, let me tell you. Like, it's been a long time. I don't even really know how to go about doing this other than to put it on a piece of paper and start working backwards from it. Like, don't come to me if you want to set a goal. That's not my expertise. You tell me you want to build something, I'll tell you how to build it. No problem. But as far as these intangible goals are concerned, and honestly, mine is quite tangible, but it feels intangible because I've never seen it and I've never done it. But when it comes to those things, I think we have to also follow our intuition. And that is the thing that I do that is unique to me, is that I don't just set the goal for goal's sake. That's where I'm going, but how I get there, my intuition is going to take me there. My interest in learning, my ability to change and adapt and overcome is what's going to get me there, not a 10-step plan. It's not a 10-step plan. It's not a 4-step framework. It's not do this and then this. It's got to be, here's some information. What do I do with this information? And then here's some more information. What do I do with this information now? And that's where trusting my gut comes in. And that's something I'm really good at. It's gotten me this far. It's fucking paid off, tenfold all the time. I expect it to continue to pay off. So I want to enjoy this time I have created for myself that I still have left. I'm in no real rush to get back to work, except I'm super excited to get back to work and put my energy into something that I want to build and turn into something else for my business. Is very exciting. I want to do this because I want to do it, knowing I'm doing it for me, not because I told a bunch of people on the internet that I was going to do it. And that should never be a reason to do anything, ever, ever. You can walk back any of your decisions. I'm going to take a year off. Well, maybe I'm going to take like 10 months instead. You can walk back any of your decisions. So let's end here by asking the question again. What else do you want? What do you want? But what else do you want? Is there anything else that you want? Where do you want to create space for opportunity that you're considering, but you keep poo-pooing on because you're like, nah, I can't do that. Nah, it's going to be too much work. Nah, I don't have time. Those things are all true. It's going to be a lot of work and you don't have time. That is true. That's just fucking life. But what do you want anyway? What do you want anyway? We're setting the bar in a different place here when you ask that question. What do you want is one question. What else do you want? That's like the leveling up that everybody talks about. This isn't about just like having something hard and fast in place. It's about having something that is pliable and flexible and that you can move the target. and that you have the skills, knowledge, and ability to move the target. And that all comes down to thought work. And that all comes down to knowing yourself and being willing to try and fail miserably many times, but keep going anyway. Is there anything else you want? Because isn't that what this whole creative sabbatical has been about? Moving the bar to new heights, to not knowing where that height was. I did not know what the limitations or the expansiveness of this creative sabbatical. I didn't know what they were. I had no idea what I was going to find when I set out to do this. But I just kept asking, what else is there? And now I'm building something entirely different that is going to reach new heights. And I kind of can't wait. So think about this for yourself. Look around all day, eyes wide open, and ask yourself, what else is there? I hope you have an amazing day, and I'll talk to you soon.